Hey guys, so today we're going to be jumping into a top 10 units list in Dragon Ball Legends. This is going to be the December 2023 edition. This is the final top 10 list of 2023. The finale of Legends Fest has already happened. We have Ultra UI signed Goku. Now, the last video I did was technically not a top 10 list. It was more of a tier list. And the reason why I did that is because at that time, I would argue that the meta was not really determined by a hierarchy of teams. It was mostly just like 7 to 10 different teams that all were relatively competitive against each other, and some matchups were better than others, so it was really hard to just sit down and rank each team by who was better than what, and then subsequently which character was better than who. Now, though, now that we've gotten Goku and Bardock and Ultra UI Goku, I think the meta has more so settled into more of a hierarchical structure here. So to me, at this point, it does make more sense to do a top 10 ranking as opposed to a tier list. But depending on how the meta forms in the future, I might go back to doing a tier list structure. It's just going to depend on what I think is more practical at the time, right? But yeah, so you guys know how these top 10 video formats work. This is rankings that are based upon my own experience, as I actually got to a pretty decently high rank in PvP last season. I think I finished top 50 overall. I did play a lot. Remember, I live in Japan, so this is going to be mostly a list that is based off of my experience playing in the JP meta. I'm not really too familiar with how the North American meta works or how the European meta works in terms of who are the most used characters. But every character is going to be considered at 14 stars, best teams, best equips, fully soul boosted, fully arts boosted, all that stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, that's basically the gist of how this is going to work. Let's go ahead and just jump into the rankings here. We'll start with number 10, then we'll work our way up to number 1. All right, so at number 10, I have Orange Piccolo here. I feel like this character has kind of just stayed consistently in this range for a while. He did end up getting a unique equipment. I think I actually... I don't think I've made a top 10 specifically since he received a unique equipment, because the last time I made the video was the tier list, and he wasn't... Yeah, that was when he just got his unique equipment. So I don't think I actually have made a list with this guy since he's received his unique equipment, but he's always sort of been like in this range, I feel like. And I think there are a lot of characters that are sort of eligible to be placed at the number 10 slot. I think there's like, I don't know, maybe like 4 to 6 different units you could probably slide in here at number 10, and really wouldn't make that big of a difference. But I'm going to go with Piccolo. I think he does still have a pretty decent spot in the meta right now. He works really well on the movies team next to Beast Gohan. I think Regen can still be decent, but Regen definitely has seen a massive decline since the beginning of Legends Fest, and now especially with UI Omen out. UI Sign, Omen, whatever you want to call them. But with UI out right now, purples are just basically like the color purple. It's kind of crazy because you think about how many purples we received this year, and they were buttering up this Goku, right, ready for him to drop, and then he drops, and the color purple, it just gets evaporated instantly. Like, you don't see purple characters at all right now, which of course is then going to help out Orange Piccolo here. But again, pretty good character. I think the equipment helped him a little bit. Not really that huge of an impact, but this character's always sort of been, again, like the utility slash support slash disrupt role on his teams. Does a pretty good job pairing up next to Beast Gohan with the synergy he has with the subcount manipulation, anti-rising rush sort of a factor on that team next to Beast Gohan. And I don't really have much else to say here. He's kind of just, you guys know how this character works right now. He's not a new character. He's been in the game for 6 months now. It's not half a year. So I would say he's actually aging pretty well, and I would be looking forward to seeing how he ages moving into 2024. I probably will eventually get kicked off this list, but I think he's going to be a solid character for a while. So Orange Piccolo at number 10. Let's move on to number 9. All right, so jumping in here at number 9 is going to be the tag Gamma 1 and 2 character here. And I'm actually going to semi-combine this with number 8 on the list, because number 8 is going to be 17. So I think we've seen, I mean, again, it's been a few months since I've released the last top 10 list, but in that time period, I think these characters, these two Android characters, the Gammas and then 17, have probably seen some of the bigger drop-offs in terms of just the spots that have changed between these characters since the last list. And a lot of that has to do, I think, with the fact that this team doesn't really have a go-to, like, I guess the best way to describe it is a point character. I think that's the term they use for, like, that's used for fighting games, where like, again, like in fighters, I think it's like your point character is the character that you are using most of the time to switch into the battlefield. I would argue that Cell was the point role on the Android team up until now. And I mean, Cell is obviously still a really good character. I don't really think he's been power crept at all. It's just that purple Cell is the definition of a character that is still very good, but this is just simply not the meta for him. He is not going to perform well in this meta, not because he's been power crept, not because he's bad, but he's purple. He's purple and he's not tanky. That's the biggest problem for Cell. And so without Cell, I think Androids definitely does suffer quite a bit. And so without Cell, the Gammas end up becoming sort of your relegated point unit. And when the Gammas are your relegated point unit and you have a yellow that you're using a lot, Beast Gohan is just going to absolutely incinerate you. And then if it's not Beast Gohan, it's UVB. So I think we have two very, very strong reds right now that exist and are in quite a bit of fight. I mean, Beast Gohan is probably the first most character I encounter. He's probably the most popular character I see. It's like him every single fight. If it's not him, well, I guess besides UI. UI is definitely number one, but if it's not UI, then it's Beast. Or they're just being used together, like in most instances too. So it's tough for this character to really be able to stick on the battlefield and stick it out with Beast. And also, even like a character like Goku and Bardock are able to just like sort of punch through this character's defense, able to punch through 17's defense. A lot of times the Android team has relied on disrupt tactics to deter the enemy's offense, as opposed to just like pure bulk. Like the Gammas here are lower key. They lower your card draw speed. 17 is lowering your power whenever you use a blue or an ultimate. He's healing the team. The Gammas are healing a lot. So they use more like utility-based defensive maneuvers as opposed to just raw bulk. And a lot of these newer characters like Goku and Bardock are not really going to care as much about that. And overall, I just feel like we are sort of getting into the realm where the Gammas are even getting power crept a little bit. I don't think they're completely like unusable or anything like that. They're still good, even like not even just an Android team, but like a movies based team. If you want to use them next to like Beast, they can perform well because remember Beast is giving support in terms of a blast attack as well for some reason. So the Gammas can be solid there, but I just feel like there's a missing link on their main team, which is Androids, and that missing link is probably in the form of a character that used to be what you would always go with, which was Cell. But it's very, very it's very what's the best way to it's very sketchy using Cell right now. You have to be like mega careful. But the Gammas, I mean, they're still good enough to be able to compete if you are in the right spot with them. If you're using them in their intended role, which is to be able to come in, combo, do a few tags, continue your combo, build up that gauge, and then switch out with them, like they can be really good still. But it's really tough to accomplish that right now when this is the meta we're in. So for that reason, I have the Gammas down at number 9. I'm going to quickly cut right here. We'll jump right in. I'm going to talk about 17 very briefly. Okay, so yeah, as I mentioned, 17 is number 8 on the list. Again, I feel like he obviously is a really well-aging character. This character came out basically a full year ago, like 11 and a half months or something at this point. So he's very, very well-aged. Does not have a single Zenkai buffer to use besides the free-to-play 21, which is not even a real Zenkai buffer that you're never going to use her either. So the fact that he's this good after as long as he has been released without a single Zenkai buff, I mean, he's going to get one at some point. It's about time we give him one, Legends, by the way. But yeah, I mean, not really much more I can say about this character other than what I mentioned referring to the Gammas. But the one thing I will talk about with 17 is because, remember, 17's only team is not Androids, it's also Universe Reps. Universe Reps has seen a lot of help, obviously, over the course of this year. We did get, in part 1, Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, who we'll talk down the line in this video about. But, of course, we also got Ultra UI Goku. And upon seeing the initial details of UI Goku, I was imagining in my head, like, okay, like, this guy's going to be crazy good next to 17, which is definitely not incorrect. Like, UI Goku and 17 make for a pretty decent combo. The color synergy between yellow and blue is always good as well. But UI Goku, I found his best team, like, by far, I want to say, is not even Universe Reps. It's just Saiyans. Saiyans / Sun Family, depending on how you want to build it. So, I mean, 17 is good. I think 17 gets incredibly hurt by the fact that he just does not take hits well anymore. I mean, this has sort of been like a slowly building thing that we've seen over the course of the past few months, but I mean, that's literally what power creep is. And I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of do want to see a Zenkai buffer for this character, because he can't really take hits anymore. Even like, so the example, an example of the character that I'm talking about when I'm talking about this character not able to be able to take hits is Goku and Bardock. Even the Goku side, the type neutral Goku side of Goku and Bardock incinerates this character. Like, Goku hits 17 with a single strike card, both 14 stars, both with godly equips on like the best setups for each of them respectively. Goku does like a third of his health in one strike. So 17 definitely still has a lot of utility. He's going to work really well with essentially every single Universe Rep character. He's going to work well on the Androids team once the Androids team gets another good like mainstay character that's able to hold down the fort while 17 supports from standby. But it definitely does feel like the effects of power creep are starting to take effect against 17 here. But that's not to say he's not still really good. I think his biggest asset still to this day is the arts power down plus heal combination whenever the enemy uses an ultimate or a blue card, especially against UI Goku. It is very, very tangible against enemy UI Gokus that try and lock you in and kill you with their ultimate. This 17 on your team increases the chances that you survive that by a lot. So still a very good unit, but I think they're, at this point, are just better characters. So that's where we're at here with number 9 and number 8. Let's move on to number 7 next. Alrighty, coming in at number 7, we have Ultra Vegito Blue. Definitely another character that I think will probably end up being on this list for quite a while. He has a lot of good two-way mechanics, both offensively and defensively. I mean, mostly offensively, but he's pretty good defensively too. I mean, so here's the thing with this character. Now, you would look at this guy, and you would expect him to be completely dominant over UI Goku. Like, you see an enemy UI Goku, and you assume this guy would be able to just come in and incinerate him. I would actually argue that's not exactly the case. UI Goku has a mechanic that this Vegito Blue hates, and that is the type of unique gauge that allows him to stop combos mid-combo and not care about coverage, and not care about cover null. Sorry, not coverage, cover null. So this Vegito Blue's greatest asset, I would argue, is the fact that he has such easy access to cover null throughout basically every single phase of a fight. You enter the battlefield with Vegito Blue, he's getting cover null. You fill up his gauge, he's getting cover null. Like, it's very easy to string together long combos with this character. We all know this. He's not really able to do that as much versus UI Goku. And even if he goes for an ult against UI Goku, that ultimate is not going to do as much as you would hope, because remember, UI Goku is going to be going type neutral, he's going to be healing 30% health, and he's going to be lowering Vegito's arts power by 50%. So it's actually not going to be as big of a snipe as you would think. But I think this guy can definitely be very, very powerful against, like, honestly, any character. Right? There's not really a single character in the game right now where this guy is like, oh my god, like, Vegito Blue's not going to be able to handle this guy. The only character that comes to mind where I'm like, if I'm using Vegito Blue, I'm kind of scared to go up against is like Goku and Bardock. Which, I mean, Goku and Bardock are pretty common, but Vegito Blue is still a very powerful character. His green card is still so stupid. And the thing is, when you're a character that has a green card counter like this guy does, even if you don't have a green card in your hand, you can pretend that you have one, and the enemy can't attack. it's like, the enemy has to assume that you always have one in your hand, when even if you don't have one. So that's like that's a very, very strong thing to be aware of. It's kind of like a cover change, where it's like the enemy has a strike cover change available, so you have to play around it, even though you don't know if they're going to be switching or not. It's kind of the same thing here. But yeah, this Ultra Vegito Blue, I think, is definitely aging very well. This is another character that is over almost 6 months old at this point. So we are getting to the point where it's starting to seem like maybe we're going to start getting power creep over this character. But in terms of what he wants to do, a character that comes into the battlefield, has very, very easy access to long combos, is able to, have a lot of Dragon Ball generation with his Rising Rush, with him falling below half HP. He has pretty decent defensive tools with his counter green card, with the fact that he's healing when he gets to half HP and going type neutral. He's sealing blue cards, he's sealing rising rushes. A lot of those abilities are not going to be so easily power crept. So I think this guy actually is still in a really, really good spot, even though he's not as big of a counter to UI Goku as a lot of people think he is. I think this guy is just still in a very good spot in the game right now, with his only like sort of mega counter that I can really think off the top of my head. Besides Janemba, which of course we'll talk about soon, Goku and Bardock. But remember, Goku and Bardock are switched into Bardock like at least 40% of the time in most cases. So yeah, I think this guy's still in a pretty good spot. And I think at least from the last time I made a top 10 list, we definitely have seen a slight drop off in Janemba. So that definitely helps this character as well. So Ultra Vegeta Blue number 7. Let's move on to number 6. All right, coming in at number 6, we have Reviving Pikkon / Super Gogeta. And this is also a situation where I think you could probably just swap this character and Vegeta Blue, right? Number 7, number 6. I feel like it's kind of close. And most of the time, it's just going to depend on your play style. For me, I'm more of a player who likes to be safe with their team compositions. Not that Vegeta Blue isn't safe, but I mean, this is a character where you can literally just put them on like almost any team and they'll be able to help a lot defensively with Disrupt, with the Revive, with, card destruction, all that stuff. Card draw speed down. This character is very valuable. And I think with them being a Saiyan, that's probably the biggest asset they have. Funnily enough, and I think I actually made the comment. It might have been during my tier list video, not the previous top 10 video, but the tier list video, where I mentioned that this character and Orange Piccolo, I mean, they're pretty similar. There's not really a gigantic difference between this character and Orange Piccolo, but I would say the advantage that this character has over Orange Piccolo is just the fact that they are Saiyan. And so it makes team building way easier. Like Orange Piccolo is going to fit well in movies. Orange Piccolo is going to fit well on regen, but that's not the meta right now. Well, movies is meta, but I would say, like, to me, Saiyans just feels like the number one, like runaway number one team in the game. Saiyans. This character like is core on the best team in the game, in my opinion. In my opinion, the best team in the game. I'll just say it right now, and I've said this on social media. I think I said this in past videos as well. And this is the team I used to get God ranked this season. You guys will see that video probably tomorrow, by the time this video goes live. But this Pikkon, UI Goku, and Goku and Bardock. That, in my opinion, is the best team in the game. And it's just Saiyans. It's literally just pure Saiyans is what the team is. And it's not just that, right? This Pikkon can also fit on movies. So I think just the access to pretty much be on every single team in the game right now, because I would say Saiyans and movies are the two best teams, and Universe Reps is up there as well, but I think movies and Saiyans edges out Universe Reps, believe it or not, right now. And this Pikkon can be core on both of those teams. It's just, I think this character is in a really good spot. And then I'll make the same comment I made when discussing Orange Piccolo. I think the fact that UI Goku has sort of just eliminated all purple characters from being usable right now also really helps this unit, because he doesn't have to worry about Goku and Frieza. Doesn't have to worry about Purple Cell. Doesn't have to worry about some of those like more niche characters like Path to Power Kid Goku or Ginyu, or Ultra Gogeta Blue as much. So that also helps this character out significantly too. And the fact that you can pair him up alongside Goku and Bardock also helps, because at that point you have essentially a team where the enemy UI Goku can't just snipe a character. Like, you have two zombie units that are unkillable in one hit, right? Goku and Bardock's indestructible mechanic, and then you have Pikkon's revival, and then of course UI Goku himself, you're going to have the anti-ultimate tech, the heal plus the power down, plus all that stuff. So yeah, I think this Pikkon's really good. I think this Gogeta's really good. Gogeta himself, I guess we can just briefly talk about this character here. This is the one area where I think this guy sort of feels a little better than Piccolo, in the fact that I think this Super Gogeta is probably just a little better than Piccolo. Piccolo, I think, hits harder with like less cards, but this Gogeta's ability to extend combos for if you get the combo off with this Gogeta after he revives initially, he's got triple card draw speed. Plus, if you have a green, he's got triple card draw speed plus cover null, which is really important. And then the one thing though that to me separates Gogeta from Piccolo is just the fact that this guy has a long range blue card. I think it really does matter. We have a lot of characters now that don't really care about melee based blue cards as much. Janemba, UI Goku. If you're in a combo against UI Goku and you go for a blue card with Orange Piccolo, well, it's not gonna affect him if he's got his gauge up. This Gogeta's different. And then I also think this Gogeta's blue card being ranged also gives him more of an opportunity to be able to snipe characters from long range, which Piccolo can't do. So there are a few areas where this Pikkon/Gogeta character definitely has innate advantages over Piccolo, but a lot of it I would say is just coming down to the meta right now. I think Saiyans is just the fact that this character is classified as a Saiyan means you can build teams around this character more easily than you could with Piccolo. So that's what I'm going to say about Pikkon and Gogeta at number 6. Let's go ahead and move into the top 5 next. Okay, so number 5, we have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. I will just say that I think slots 5, 4, and 3 are all relatively close. I don't really think there's like some ridiculous separation between them. But in terms of this character in particular, I'm not going to go into extensive length about this unit. I'm pretty sure everybody knows how good they are. But the reason why they're not higher on the list is mainly just due to the fact that characters that rely on like super long combos, and I talked about this with Vegito Blue now at this point already as well. It's very tough to be able to chain together these like long, ridiculous combos against UI Goku. It's very tough. And it's not just UI Goku, right? When you have characters that are doing like super mega long combos, like I've done probably, because the combo counter stops at 99, doesn't go higher than that. Honestly, at this point, they should probably increase that because it would be nice to see how much above 99 we can go, because at this point we have a lot of different characters that can achieve this. But for this character, like I've probably had combos that have gone above 150 easily. But once you get to that point, it's like, it's not even worth continuing. Like you're just wasting time. You're doing such little damage thanks to combo compensation that it's not even worth continuing the combo in most instances. Like it's cool and it's helpful in the sense that it allows you to farm Rising Rushes, I guess, if you don't have your Rising Rush at that point. But this character, I mean, yes, they're extraordinarily good. Combo potential is almost unmatched, but they're not as good defensively as I would like, is the biggest downside to them, as well as the fact that it's harder for them to combo for an exorbitant amount of time compared to pre-UI Goku coming out. And so I've had instances where I'm fighting a 12, 13, 14 star version of this character with 17 on the team and just getting like one card off on this unit and then just switching to UI Goku means they die. So, I mean, I would actually say that this character, you think about it logically, and you would assume that UI Goku coming out, being yellow, able to cover this character's weakness to purple characters, and essentially removing purple characters from the game would be very good for this unit. And I would actually say that's probably true still, right? Running UI Goku next to this character could be good. I think they sort of clash a little bit, but not as much as I think people are saying at this point. But I think UI Goku functions more of a good counter to this character than he does as a partner, which is interesting. And so for that reason, I'm not really going to knock them or give them a bump up too much because of the UI Goku release. I think he's sort of had a neutral impact on this character. Good partner, but I would say not even just a neutral. I probably would say it hurts them a little bit more than it helps them. UI Goku's release. It's too easy to get the snipe off on this character. And that's where I think the effect lies here with the UI Goku release. Because this character has a defensive mechanic, which is whenever the enemy attacks, they lose 5 ki and they get their arts power reduced. But against a character like UI Goku, all it takes is one hit. So what are you, reducing his ki by 5 once and his arts power by 5% once? That's it? Like, that's not enough. And so these guys end up a lot of times just dying to UI, where a lot of the other better units we're about to talk about right now are not susceptible to that level of just, getting sniped and you're dead. So I think that's the difference between this character and the other characters we're going to talk about in a second here. But yeah, I think this character's still very good. I think they can definitely steal the showcase, and a lot of times when I'm making videos about other characters, probably going to go out of my way to not use this character moving forward because they Like, they get started and the snowball just does not stop rolling. So, good character. But I think defensively they are a little bit lacking, which is not the worst thing in the world because every character was defensive to the level where they like Goku and Bardock and Revival, Pikkon, stuff the game would just go to timer every time. So Goku and Vegeta, number 5. Let's move on to number 4. All right, number 4, we have Super Janemba. It's kind of crazy seeing this guy at number 4 here. But I do think that we have seen some characters that can be an issue for this guy. And not even so much as the characters being an issue for this guy, but this character's best team is Regen. And it's Regen because he has access to the best Zenkai abilities, he's access to the best Z abilities, he has access to the best equipment, the best pure equipment on Regen, and he's going to feel the most powerful on Regen, and it's just tough to run. Regen is just a tough team to run now, right? Cell is very, very risky to use. You have characters like Kid Buu that you can use, but are they worth running on this team on a Regen team with this Janemba as opposed to just throwing this guy on movies? So I think Regen has seen a bit of a fall off, and because of that, this Janemba is definitely not as powerful on like a movie setup, but on top of that, we have characters now like Goku and Bardock who don't care as much about this guy's ultimate off of the gauge. We have characters like Pikkon and Gogeta who, in combination with characters like Goku and Bardock, are going to be able to just soak up damage from this character. And of course, UI Goku can definitely be a problem for this character. I talked about in the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta portion, which was the character number 5 on the list, how they didn't feel good enough defensively to me to be able to justify a higher spot. And I kind of feel the same way about Janemba, but at least Janemba has a much bigger and more impactful defensive mechanic, which is his gauge. But there's going to be times where UI Goku starts comboing. Like, if you have like 2 blast cards in your hand with UI Goku, Janemba's in for a rough time, right? Now, Janemba does remove buffs when you ult him. So he I would say probably more than a lot of other characters on this list, Janemba actually will be able to take an ultimate from UI Goku a little bit better than most other characters on this list because of the fact that he removes enemy buffs and I think attribute upgrades. I think it's both. But there could be times where this guy just gets clobbered by a bunch. Like if you're confident with your Janemba, and you're sitting in there and you're thinking to yourself, all right, a strike is coming any day now, and the opponent does not strike, and then they go into UI Goku and then they catch you, like, you're dead. So I think that interaction between UI Goku and Janemba, where Janemba, so previously to UI Goku's release, Janemba is able to pretty much avoid getting locked in and snipe with a rush, because Janemba reduces sub count of allies by 10 when the enemy rushes. So it's very hard to catch this Janemba with a Rising Rush. But now we have this UI Goku mechanic where Janemba can't just switch out of the one-time anti-cover change that UI Goku has. So if you're sitting in there with Janemba and you're getting blasted, and you're thinking a strike has to be coming soon, and it doesn't, and the enemy goes to UI, like, you're dead. So I think when you're with Janemba, and this is the reason why he's not higher on the list, he's still a crazy character, like, obviously that's why he's number 4, but in terms of why he's 4 and not 3 or number 2, is because if you're sitting there with Janemba, and what you used to be able to do was just sit there for, eternities, until the opponent had to inevitably strike card you, Janemba was going to probably just like either kill someone or get them to like very low HP with his ultimate. The ultimate's ridiculous, and then he's going to heal up every time he uses a card. Like, this character's really dumb. But now, if you take that risk and you sit in with Janemba while you're getting comboed, there is always going to be that chance that UI Goku is just going to come in and blast you one time, and then like you can't switch because he's just going to kill you. So I think that's the one part of one aspect, I guess, of this meta with UI Goku coming out that really has hurt Janemba a little bit here. But Janemba, don't get me wrong, of course, is still a ridiculous unit. You guys know it. Everybody knows it. This guy's still very dumb, has one of the most ridiculously annoying mechanics in the game. I actually really hate this unit a lot. So it pains me to put him this high up on the list still at number 4, but I really do think he is that good still. But his main team not being as good, or sorry, not his main team not being as good, but his main team not being as usable right now, I guess is the best way to phrase that. And on top of that, I think UI Goku being not a great character to go up against with this character has hurt him a little bit. But this guy does match up pretty well against Beast, which is nice. So Janemba at number 4. Let's move on to number 3 next. Coming in at number 3, we have the first ever What If Tag LF character, Goku and Bardock. This is actually the first top 10 list I'm doing with Goku and Bardock on it. This character is really, really dumb. This character is really dumb. So they introduce this new mechanic, the Indestructible mechanic, which is essentially just revive. I mean, let's be real. It's just revive, essentially. Now, I mean, there's a few differences. It's actually more so like endurance than it is revival, but it's endurance that can't be canceled by anything, is basically what it is. The enemy can still combo you while the Indestructible is active. It's not going to hurt you at all, but they have the option to do so in case they want to avoid the lock-in. But the crazy thing about this character is if you take a look at every revival unit that we've ever gotten, they pretty much aren't complete characters prior to reviving, right? The revival character is kind of just like, I want to say like 3/4 of a full character. Because having a character with 2 lives is broken. Yeah, that's correct. You got it. That having a character with 2 lives is broken. And that's exactly what this character has. And they are broken before they have their Indestructible procced. And after they proc their Indestructible, they're the same character. So this is, I would actually argue, like the first revival character that is a complete character pre and post revival. But obviously it's not actually a revival character. It's an Indestructible unit. Of course, we can go down the list of different things this character is able to do. They have very easy access to cover nullification, or special cover. I should specify special cover change nullification now that we have the UI mechanic. Special cover change nullification. Their damage is absurd. They have very ease of access to Zenkai abilities via Namek Goku, via Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They have actually a lot of different small intangible things, like the cost reduction this character is able to get on blue cards, on strikes, on blasts. It's pretty good. They have very ease of access to their tag switch gauge. They get extra tag switch gauge when they get hit by a blue card. They take less damage inherently from blue cards, so that's and ultimates, I should say, as well. They're going to heal up from that. The healing they do when they switch in and out, the key they get when they switch in and out, and then of course everyone's favorite mechanic, the AoE green card. Yeah, I mean, this character has a lot of things that just add up at the end of the day, and they're very, very strong. This character has a unique gauge as well. I would actually argue that, like, I don't really even understand why they have a unique gauge, because it doesn't really do anything unique. Every time they switch in and out, they build it up a little bit, and then I think when they finally get the unique gauge, all it does is it gives them a little bit extra damage and like anti-Dragon Ball destruction, card destruction, and key reduction, I think is what it is. So they just can't be interrupted by pretty much anything. And yeah, overall, I mean, this character is doing a lot. They're a very easy include as well on like any team. This is a very good leader slot character. And I think this team does actually make it onto, again, what I would consider to be the best team in the game, which is this character, Revival, Gogeta, and UI Goku. And this is the point character on that team. When you're using that team, the best team in the game that I think is the best team in the game, I think that this character is who you're going to be using, and that's going to be on the battlefield for the majority of the fight. Their green card is just too strong in terms of field presence. They, of course, have blast armor. They can't be rushed. Well, they can be rushed, but you don't want to rush this character. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with this unit. I think they're really good. Obviously, they have a blue and green typing, which can be really good against a lot of the meta characters. Green is going to be good against Janemba. And then green is also really good against the enemy Goku and Bardock that are switched into Goku. And then, of course, Goku, the Goku side is going to be good against like VB and Beast Gohan. So pretty good unit. I think them also really not really caring as much against UI Goku's lock-in is another valuable part about this character. But Goku and Bardock at 3. I think this character will only see an increase in value as we continue forward here into 2024, but we'll see. So Goku and Bardock here at number 3. Let's move on to number 2 next. Number 2, we have transforming red beast Gohan. Yeah, this guy's very, very broken. Very good. I don't really have anything negative to say about this character. He's pretty good in every respect. I think, you take a look at the landscape of the game right now, he's probably able to fit in better than almost every other character. We have, I wouldn't say that many broken blue characters. I mean, we have Janemba, who's like the best blue character right now. We have Goku and Bardock, who are half blue. Well, Janemba's the best pure blue character. I think Goku and Bardock are so stupid, man. Like, I think a lot of people are still underrating how good that character is, because a lot of people probably didn't summon for them because the banner was terrible, or just didn't pull them because the banner was terrible. But you guys will see when Goku and Bardock come back for the first time in July. You guys will see how good they are. And then of course we have like 17, who also of course can be pretty good against this unit. But yeah, I mean, this guy, you can essentially just slot him in wherever and he's going to be good. He's probably the single best, well, not probably, he is the single best deterrent we have in the game right now for Ultra UI Goku, which is a huge asset, because at least for me, UI Goku is the most common unit I encounter by far. It's not close. It's UI Goku and then Beast, I think, is the second unit I encounter the most. A lot of times they're used together, so I mean, it's not fair to really separate them, I think. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. You guys know how this character works. I think against UI Goku, so obviously people are going to point to the fact that like UI Goku can counter this guy, in terms of him using strike cards and blue card, and this character having a melee based blue card means UI Goku can just evade it. But you have to remember that this guy can just start spamming blues in close range, right? And with UI Goku, you're not like sidestepping up a storm in close range because you have your gauge most of the time. So you're not going to be PVing this guy's blue cards from close range a lot of the time. So this guy is going to be transforming, removing your vanishing gauge. He's going to be spamming blue cards in close range. UI Goku can't really do much about that. You probably get better off just like switching to Goku and Bardock to be able to deal with this guy in close range. But yeah, I think this guy's going to be pretty good for a while. He's probably going to age pretty well. I guess like the one downside we can sort of say about this character is he can feel a little bit lacking in base before he transforms, but it's really not that hard to get his gauge built up, assuming you get hit at all during the fight. And remember, he's building his gauge up over time as well. So even if you don't fill the entire thing up from getting hit, you can at least fill a portion of it up. I think what is it? When the timer hits 140 is when he gets a gigantic boost to his unique gauge. So yeah, really powerful character. He can go type neutral. He gets a lot of vanish restorations. He's a really powerful one-man army style unit that has type advantage over the most recent meta-defining Ultra unit. So this character's in a really good spot. I think, again, very limited amount of characters that can sort of counter him, sorry, with Janemba, who's not seen as much. Goku and Bardock, I think, is this character's biggest weakness, that Goku side. But even like that, this guy deletes your buffs when you use a blue card. He, again, when he's transformed, there's a lot of ways of going type neutral, so it's not so easy just to catch this character. But Red Beast Gohan number 2. Let's move on to number 1. Alrighty, number 1 on the December 2023 top 10 unit list here is going to be Ultra UI Sign Goku. Yeah, this guy really does feel like that guy. He really, at least to me, in my experience, again, I used him throughout the entirety of my God rank grind. At this point, I would probably say I have at least 150 matches in with this character. He feels really powerful, man. He really does. I think what people will notice with this guy as people get more accustomed to using him, because I would probably say I've used this character more than 99.9% of people now, is you don't want to just throw out this character's lock-in ability. And let's just get it out of the way now. That is probably his single best asset. The fact that you can nullify an opponent's cover change one time, draw an ultimate, and then lock the opponent in while you smack them in the face with an ultimate. I don't think, like, just thinking off the top of my head, I don't think there's another single character in the game that has currently shaped this existing meta off of one mechanic more than this character. Right? I mean, that one mechanic single-handedly essentially eliminated the color purple from the game. How many times have you guys run into Purple Cell or Goku and Frieza or like any purple Path to Power Kid Goku, Ginyu, even like Purple Jiren, who was a really damn good unit and still is a damn good unit, but it's just tough. It's just tough to find a place to use him where it feels comfortable bringing him into a fight when you know this character's on the opponent's team. Like it's insane how powerful that mechanic is, that it's like that one, it's not even the character, that mechanic eliminated the color purple from the game. It's just way too strong. And so what I was saying is, I think people are going to realize that with that anti-cover change mechanic in the game, and this character having access to it with everything else he's doing as well, you don't want to just throw it out. You want to save it for an opportunity where you can essentially guaranteed get the kill on somebody, or if not, just straight up kill somebody, either remove their first life if it's going to be a revival character, or, you know, proc an indestructible if it's going to be Goku and Bardock. But you want to get some kind of value off of it instead of just throwing it out and, you know, having it activate early on in a fight. And in fact, the strategy that I take against enemy UI Gokus is if they're comboing me early on, I'll just force them to activate it early. And that sort of frees me up later on when I'm in a bad situation to where they don't have access to it anymore. And then the opposite goes for me. If I'm comboing somebody very early on in a fight with this UI Goku, I a lot of times switch to not trigger that mechanic. I want to save it later on because it's just that powerful. It is so powerful. It is insane. And that in combination with the fact that this guy just does ridiculous amounts of blast damage. He actually gets cover null on his green card that he draws from his main ability. Don't forget, this character is nullifying endurance on his main ability. So if you're going up against a character, I guess we'll just use 17. Like 17 is probably the most prominent traditional endurance character that is still used right now. Like if you're going up against a Universe Reps team, and you're going up against Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, and the opponent only has 17 on the bench with endurance and doesn't have like a revival character or something. Because right now the go-to Universe Reps team is UI Goku 17 and then Goku and Vegeta, right? So if you catch that Blue Goku and Vegeta in a combo, instead of trying to force them to switch and kill them that way, you can simply main and rush, and then the opponent's gonna die. Like someone's dead. Because again, he has endurance null on his main ability, and 17 has to be switched in for that to activate. So this guy has that. Remember, this Goku draws a green card from his main ability, which you can use to draw another blast card, which you can use to then extend your combo, so that if your opponent is... Because a lot of times what will happen is you will start a combo on somebody with this guy, and they won't switch, because they don't want to activate the lock-in. So the fact that this guy gets double card draw speed when he first switches in for a few counts means that it's really hard for this guy's combo to just get stopped right away. And then we can also talk about his defensive mechanics, which of course you guys know how powerful the auto dodge mechanic is. And then on top of that, if you do manage to actually start a combo on this character, he has 3 instances of what is essentially Janemba's unique gauge, where your combo just ends. If you go for a strike card in the middle of a combo where this character has at least 30% of his unique gauge, your combo comes to an end. It's automatically stopped. And that goes for strike cards as well as melee-based melee-based blues and greens as well. So yeah, this character not only is really strong offensively, he's really strong defensively. Don't forget, he also has the like sort of anti-ultimate arts ability as well, where he's going to heal 30%, go type neutral, and reduce the opponent's ultimate arts power by 50%. I recently did a match with this character where I fought a 14-star Vegito Blue. And Vegito Blue's ultimate did less than half my health on this character. That's how dumb this is. So he's just insanely hard to kill. He's able to pair up very well with a lot of recent characters, like Goku and Bardock in particular, like Pikkon. Again, I think that's the best team in the game right now. Of course, this character does, see some difficulty in fighting like Beast Gohan, but other than Beast Gohan, I mean, he's not really struggling against many characters, and especially if you're running that team that I talked about, I don't really... Like, I fight Beast Gohan, like, every other match, or even more so than that, and I never really had, like, a major issue with Beast Gohan. Because Goku and Bardock are my point character. I don't think this guy needs to be dominating the entirety of every single match at all times to be the best character right now, in my opinion. His job is achieved when he secures a kill on an enemy character with his lock-in. If he's able to do that consistently, like that's more than enough value because a lot of times it's going to guarantee your victory if you can just snipe a character out early on in a fight like this. Like, it's that combined with the fact that he's just doing everything else, like it's just too much. At some point it just gets to the point where it's just too much, and that's where I feel like this character is. I think he is beyond everything we've seen so far from the rest of the game, but that's not to say that I think he's too overpowered. I don't think he's at that level. I think there is, at least in my opinion, a distinct, I don't want to say jump because it's not that big of a jump, but a distinct step up in level with this guy compared to the rest of the game. But it's not to the level that we've seen in the past, right? I would argue that when Ultra Blue Gogeta dropped last year, the step up in power that we saw with Gogeta was way higher than we saw with this UI Goku. So I think that's good. We don't need to have some massive step up every time, but there is still a slight step up here in my opinion. So UI Goku is going to come in here at number 1 on the list. So just to recap the full list, this was a bit of a longer one, but I think there's a lot to explain because I haven't done one of these in a while. Number 10, we have Orange Piccolo. Number 9, we have the Tag Gamma 1 and 2. Number 8, we have LF Android 17. Number 7, we have Ultra Vegito Blue. Number 6 is going to be Revival Super Gogeta / Pikkon. Number 5, we have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Number 4 is Ultra Super Janemba. Number 3 is Goku and Bardock. Number 2 is Red Beast Gohan. And then number 1 is Ultra UI Saiyan Goku. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of the placements on this list. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.